If you are someone who really hates learning from a course book, if you find it too boring, please watch this video. So in this video, I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks in order to improve your English while at the same time you're enjoying yourself. Okay, so the first part is to improve your listening skills. In order to improve your listening skills, the first thing that you can do is, of course, watching movies without subtitles. I know this is an old school way, but it always works, so I always recommend my students to do this whenever they have time. But of course, you need to watch movies without subtitles. If you're watching movies with subtitles, you're only going to rely on those subtitles. You're just going to read them without, really pay attention to what they are talking about in order to understand the movie and also what the characters are talking about. So instead, if you watch without the subtitles, you have to pay extra attention to what the characters are saying in order to understand the movie. So over time, you'll eventually improve your listening skills. So there is also another thing that you can do in order to improve your listening skills, that is watching YouTube videos every day. Actually, YouTube videos are even a little bit better in my opinion because, when you get onto YouTube and when you click on a video, the person starts talking to you non-stop continuously with loud and clear voice. It is sometimes even easier for you to understand rather than watching a movie. That's why I highly recommend you guys to watch YouTube as well. But of course, you guys have to watch YouTube videos without subtitle as well, just like the movies. So now let's move on to reading. Of course, if you want to improve your reading skills, of course you have to read something. If you don't feel like reading boring text on course books, you can totally read anything that you like that is written in English. So as long as you're reading, you're gonna be improving. So the first thing that you can read is English novels. If you are just an intermediate learner, pre-intermediate or lower, you might not be able to read the real English novel. So at the time, you can read graded readers. But if you are upper intermediate level learner or above, I highly recommend you to read English novels because they are such a great way to improve your English. And at the same time, you'll be immersed in the book. You'll be able to enjoy the storyline and the characters. It's really fun. But if you are someone who don't really enjoy reading long novels, there are so many other options as well. I highly recommend you guys to read the websites that interest you. For example, let's say you have an interest in zodiac signs like Aries, Taurus, Libra, something like that. So if you're interested in those things, you can search for websites that are written about those things. As you are interested in them, of course, you'll keep reading more and more. So at the time, you can improve in that way as well. So now we have moved on to the productive skills, which are like writing and speaking. So I'm just going to talk about writing first. So I know you guys really hate writing. I know you guys don't want to write anything. It is really boring for you. It is really challenging for you to start writing something, especially if you don't have any practice. But still, if you do not start practicing, your writing skill is going to be in this level while the other skills are leveling up. So at the time, for example, when you reach the upper intermediate level, your writing skill is going to be at the basic or elementary level, which you don't want that to happen to you, obviously, right? So you really need to start practicing now if you want to avoid that scenario. For example, if you're going to take an IELTS exam or some like academic examination, so at the time your writing skill is really weak, you won't be able to get a high mark. Even if you get like a high scores in reading, listening, and speaking, your writing skill is going to be very weak. So that it is really important for you to find something that you really enjoy to write about, so that of course you'll keep writing. Otherwise, if you do not enjoy the process, of course you will stop writing. So I don't want that to happen to you guys. So the first fun way that you can do to practice writing is to keep a diary. It's very simple. You just have to keep a diary. You don't have to show your writing to anyone else, so you don't have to worry about the mistakes as well. You can just write whatever you want, whatever you're feeling that day. So it's kind of like letting your feelings out after every day. So it is such a great way to improve your writing because you have to write on a daily basis because obviously it's a diary. So another way to improve your writing skills is to write captions in English when you're posting something on social media. The caption could be just 1 or 2 sentences, but still you really have to think really hard in order to come up with a good caption. So it is also a very good way to improve your writing. Even though there is not a lot of writing involved, it still helps you improve. So once you get confident with those captions, you can start writing longer posts on Facebook. Instead of writing in your own language, Burmese, you can post in English. This is also a very fun way to improve your writing skills. So the last one is speaking. This is a little bit tricky because it is really hard to practice without a partner to practice. If you have found a partner, it could be like one of your friends, you guys can start talking about whatever that comes to your mind, whatever you want to talk about to each other, but you have to talk in English, of course. You guys can just turn what you're usually talking to each other in Burmese into English. That is as simple as that. So for example, you're watching some K-dramas and you really want to talk about that with your friend, you can talk about those K-dramas in English instead of in Burmese. But some of the people find it really hard to find a partner whom they can practice in English every day. So if that's your situation, no worries, because there are so many ways that you can practice speaking English alone. So the very first thing that you can do if you cannot find a partner is to practice speaking with ChatGPT, which I highly recommend because it is such a fun and useful way to practice speaking English, because even though it doesn't really feel like talking to a human, you have someone that is going to respond to you when you're talking about something. So it is so much better than just talking alone, talking to the mirror or talking to the voice recorder. With ChatGPT, you can choose to talk about so many different topics. You can talk about K-dramas, and also you can talk about the games that you have been currently playing, and also you can even practice IELTS speaking question types with ChatGPT. It is also free, so that the only thing that you need to practice with ChatGPT is good internet connection. So if you haven't done that already, I highly encourage you to start practicing with ChatGPT. So these are some of the ways that you can use in order to not only improve your English skills, but also find enjoyment while you're practicing. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.